All right, we're going to talk about resolution considerations when it comes to logo design. So you should be able to print your logo design on any size without image degradation, be it a postage stamp size or big enough to put on the side of a building, even a billboard size. No worries at all when it comes to dots per inch and printing out your designs. Alternatively, when it comes to online usage, your website, let's say, things are a little different. Electronic screens can have their limitations when it comes to image resolution because of the use of raster or pixel-based images. What works on paper does not necessarily work online, and this can mean your process and application of using images may need to change for your online usage. Your logo design needs to reflect this, but first you need to understand resolution, how to do it, and why. So what is resolution? Resolution on computers and electronic devices is the number of pixels contained on display. This is given as the number of pixels on the horizontal axis by the number on the vertical axis, resulting in the calculation of pixels per inch. How sharp the image appears on the screen depends on the size of the screen as well as the number of pixels. The same pixel resolution will be sharper on a smaller screen and become less sharp the bigger the screen becomes. This makes sense because in essence, the same number of pixels are spread out over a large area. Simple, right? The output, of course, will depend on the actual device and display. So your image may appear differently on devices and screens depending on the product. Resolution is often advertised when an electronic device is being considered for purchase. Pixels and DPI. Bitmap formats will be what your logo is saved as, and these formats are finite and include JPEG, PNG, GIF, and PSD. Pixels are individual squares that make up an image when stacked on top of each other in rows. That is why when you zoom in, you only see blurred squares. So you can see here DPI stands for dots per inch, so that's the 10 dots per inch, 72, and 300 dots per inch. The higher the DPI, the more information there is within an image, which means you can see more detail and the picture looks crisper. Although dots per inch is usually used when discussing printed output, and pixels per inch is used for displays in digital images. Both can be interchangeable. They are often mixed up when discussing the resolution, and you can understand why, as they are so similar. However, what you would be led to believe is the higher the DPI or pixels per inch, the higher quality the image will be and would not be a problem. How big are pixels? The size of the pixels and the physical size of an image once it is printed, plus the number of pixels there are in the picture, are all factors to consider when it comes to image quality. So the size of the pixels in the image you want to use online makes a difference to how your logo will appear. To understand, you need to know many dots per inch and how big the image is in the end are entirely dependent on each other. For example, a low DPI and a lower pixel dimensions will cause a blurry image when the size is increased. Similarly, higher pixel images and higher DPI can also cause a picture to become blurred when resized. The detail in the image is key to how the final image will be seen in any given space. So what size logo do you need? You can calculate the size of the space for your logo using a square feet and circle calculator or similar. This will help you understand what size and resolution image you need for the space your logo will be taking up. This can be different for social media icons, website headers, and other icons. You may need multiple sizes for different platforms or be able to resize easily. Here are some example logo sizes. So there are so many different sizes that are required out there on many different pages. Here are some examples of logo sizes that work best on different websites and social media pages. Social media logos. So you have here a list of different social media apps, and the profile logo, as far as their size dimensions go, generally. So you have Facebook profile logo is 200 pixels by 200 pixels. Google Plus and profile logo 250 by 250. Twitter avatars 400 by 400 pixels. YouTube channel icon 98 by 98 pixels, and Instagram avatar 110 by 110 pixels. You also have website logo sizes, generally favicons for URL, header, and favorite icons between 16 pixels by 16 and 48 by 48 pixels. Website horizontal icon, 250 pixels by 150, or 350 by 75, or 400 by 100. Website square or vertical icon is usually between 160 and 160 pixels. So what DPI should your logo be? This is not always necessary when using an image online, but most will tell you that 72 dots per inch is best for online usage. However, that does not always make a difference when looking at images on a screen. The resolution of the actual screen may make the image appear differently. This can be the same for colors and focus too. What if it is more or less? Well, it will not take much of difference on your current website, but if you find problems when you want to print or change the format of your site. In print, you want to make sure that you're at 300 dots per inch. So it's a little different when you go from web to print. So what format should your logo be in? As described above, most logo formats will be designed for web. They will be raster files. If they're designed for print, they'll be vector files. And if you do not have the professional software, obviously you guys do, so you guys would definitely design your logos in a vector file format at first, and then obviously export for whatever purpose that you have for finalization. If you want to make extensive changes in size, then vector images are the best. Professional logo designers will offer you a vector image format as well as more familiar bitmap files. So I actually have this, and I know you can't see this on the slide, so I'm going to share this a little bigger. I think this is an interesting infographic that shows the different file formats in regards to logo files. So on the left-hand side here, we're looking at raster.matrix, so raster formats, versus on the right, which is vector-based formats. And typically, almost always you want to design in a vector-based software. So Illustrator, for example, you want to design your logo initially in. When you export out, you can export out for printed purposes, either a PDF or an EPS. And it explains on this infographic what each of those file formats mean. If you are exporting the AI file for web purposes, you can export that out as a JPEG or a PNG, even a GIF file for website purposes. So that's just a nice little infographic here for explanation of each file format, kind of what that means, what they mean for each one, because it can be a little confusing. What to look for in a logo design. We kind of talked about this before, but ideally your perfect logo will enable customers to identify your brand immediately. Make it stand out and achieve plenty of customer interest. You should go for a simple logo which makes it easy to recognize and is memorable. Think about logos you know well and what makes them stick in your memory. These are the kinds of things you want for your logo, something that will stay with your customers for the duration and grow your business.